Hello everyone, welcome to Southern Wreaths. If you haven't yet, please subscribe to my channel, give me a thumbs up, share my video, and hit the notification bell so you can know when I have a new video come out. Today I'm going to show you how I make this really pretty Merry Christmas wreath. These are the supplies I'm planning on using to make this wreath. You'll know in the end, or actually you'll already know because you've seen the picture, what I actually do use. But I'm thinking these are like the perfect color and they're berries, so they're really cute. And then I have some different greeneries here, some with berries. I'm not going to use these little mini poinsettias, but they just are on these bundles. The sign's from Craft Outlet, so is the mesh I'm using. My frame is from Dollar Tree. My pipe cleaners are from Hobby Lobby. And this mesh I got at different places. I've had it for a while. This one says Hobby Lobby. This one says Joanns. This one says Joanns, and this one I have no idea because I don't have sides on it, but I'll do my best to find whatever is similar. And I'm going to do the poof and ruffle method. To get started, I'm going to add the pipe cleaners to my frame. Like I always do, I am going to add one to each crossbar in the center. I'm going around the 2 center rings, and I twist 3 times. So right here, I'm just going to go around these 2 rings. And I'll do that going all the way around the center. I end up with 6 ties for this particular wreath form. Once I'm done going around the inside, I'll start on the outside. I just pick a random crossbar to start, and this time I'm going around the 2 outside rings. And I'm twisting 3 times still. When I twist it up on top of this second from the outside ring. It just helps when I'm adding everything so it doesn't tip over the side. And then I will lay this flat, and where this pipe cleaner ends is where I add my next one. I'll do this going all the way around the outside. I end up with 8 on the outside, 6 on the inside, with a total of 14. Once I'm done adding all of my pipe cleaners, I like to open up the outside pipe cleaners. And then I have some zip ties here. I'm going to need 2. One to start and one to finish my mesh. And this mesh has been used, that's why it's all crappy looking. But that's okay because that part will be cut off. So we're just going to gather it and pull it straight if I can. This mesh is not in the best shape right now. I am going to go to a pipe cleaner that's at a crossbar, lay my bundled mesh over top, and then I'm just going to attach it to the crossbar where the pipe cleaner is located. If I can get my zip tie proper. Then I'll pull it tight and trim that away. Just use my wire cutters. And then I like to trim the mesh away. And then I'm going to make 10-inch poofs. You could do 12-inch poofs if you want. And you can also use a 10-inch base instead of 21-inch. I just always like making a 21-inch base. It's a habit. So I'm going to start from the 18 and go to the 8. That's how I'm going to measure my 10 inches. And you can do this any way that's easy for you to measure. I line up the pipe cleaner with the line and then pull out and squeeze. I lift that, add it to the next pipe cleaner, twist 1.5 times and pull it out. You haven't actually used this pipe cleaner yet. And then I like to fluff it. And then I'll show you again. You go to the 18, line up the pipe cleaner with that line. You're making your hand like this when you're grabbing the mesh. You pull it to C, squeeze, and lift. We'll do this going all the way around the outside. And you do that extra half twist. One is to pull your pipe cleaners out of the way, and it's also to keep your pipe cleaners from opening, because if you don't, sometimes when you're messing with other things, they'll just pop right open. Once I get to the last poof on the outside, I'm going to make my poof the same, and this time I'm going to lay the mesh over top of where the zip tie is, and now I'm going to use that pipe cleaner. And then I'm going to fluff. And then real quick, I'm going to go through and open my inside pipe cleaners just to make my life easier. I'm going to pull the mesh into the closest pipe cleaner, twist it once, and then keep making my poofs. And I'm still doing the 8-inch poofs. Once I get to my very last poof, I'm going to try my best to make one with the end of the roll. I'm gonna make my last poof. I'm gonna open that tie that I used, that pipe cleaner I used at the beginning, and place this in there. Again, twisting 1.5 times, and now I'm just gonna trim this away. And you can see I can make 2 poof wreaths, like bases, out of 1 roll, which is really nice. So I'm going to push this through to the back and attach it to the same crossbar that I started at with a zip tie. Pull it tightly, trim that away, and then push your zip tie towards the front so there's nothing sharp sticking out of the back. And then I like to trim this away as well. And then I will go through and fluff all of these poofs to make them look nice. They don't have to be perfect because you're going to cover them in ruffles and ribbons and a sign and other embellishments. But if you were making a poof wreath only, one, I would recommend adding way more poofs than just this. And then I would also recommend making them as perfect as you possibly can, since that's the focal point of the wreath. So I'm just going to keep messing with this till I'm happy, and then I'll move on. I love this color for Christmas. It's so pretty. I like the darker, like matte colors. So for my ruffles, I'm cutting them at 25 inches. So I'll pull out to 24. I'm going to pull over to 1 and then grab it back at 0, pull to the center, just because it's easier to cut and I have less lines here, and cut. Because I have a huge like crease spot right here from where I cut it for so long. So I try to move it around so I don't get too much of a deep gash. I need a new mat. Alright, I'm going to go through and cut 14 pieces of this. If you're using a larger frame and you have more ties, then you would just cut more. You would definitely need another roll of mesh though, because this uses the entire roll. After I cut all of my mesh, I am going to go ahead and ruffle. I put something heavy. It's just kind of hanging out the end because it's so long. This is one of the curlier pieces, so I definitely need something heavy down there. So what I do is I lay it flat, and this one just happens to have a brown line through the middle, so it'll be easy to keep centered. But you just want to go center down it. And I just like to make accordion folds just like this, but you could also just kind of scrunch it together. I like the way the ruffles look when I do it like this. It kind of looks like a fan. And then when I get to the end, I just kind of tuck that piece under. To see how it fans out. I really like the way that looks. Alright, so keeping it in the center, and you saw there I just made sure it was centered. I'm going to add it into my wreath. I think I'm going to start on the outside. Yeah. Add one, twist, and pull it out of the way, and then overlap the edges so it makes this really pretty round ruffle. And I'll show you again. Lay this out flat, and then just start making your ruffles. And do whatever feels right to you and whatever you enjoy doing. I believe that there's no perfect way to make a wreath, that you just make it the way you like it and what makes you happy. Alright. Now we're going to add the next one right next to the one we just did. We're just kind of going around in order. This mesh is really thick, so you want to twist it pretty tight. Alright, so after I fluff these over each other, oops, I went to the inside. Don't do that. Go back to the outside. Alright, add that one in there, if I can. And now I'm going to twist it. And then overlap. And then you'll fluff it up against the one next to it so that it's not tucked under. Now I'm going to go through and finish adding all of my ruffles. I have all of my mesh added to the wreath. It's so pretty. I love this part of making a wreath. And sometimes I just think I just want to leave it just like this because it's just so pretty and simple. And it would be really affordable. But I have plans for this one, so I'm going to go ahead and start on my ribbons. I like to cut my ribbons at 12 inches, mainly because it's easier to price it that way. But you could cut it larger or smaller if you want. I'm just going to take my 12-inch piece of cardboard. I lay my ribbon out this way, like it's upside down. I line it up with the end, and then I pull it over. Make sure it's even, and I crease it. That's going to be 1. And then I grab it at the bottom, go over. That's 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7. I don't usually go past 7 because it starts getting too thick, and I only need 7 of each ribbon. Once I'm done, I'm going to slide my scissors in between the ribbon and the cardboard and pull it up to the top and trim it away. And then I'll hold it tightly and do the same thing on this side. And I end up with 7 pieces of 12-inch ribbon. And then once I'm done cutting my ribbon, I like to dovetail the ends. You don't have to do this. You could leave them square or you could just angle cut them. I just like the look of dovetail. So I'm going to fold it in half long ways and cut from the wire to the crease at an angle. And I end up with a dovetail. And I'll do that on each side for each piece of ribbon. And you can stack them more than 2 per stack if you have good scissors. 2 is about the best I can do with mine. Sometimes 3 depending on the ribbon. Okay, so I made a boo-boo and I didn't have enough ribbon for my wreath. So I added an extra one of these because I was 1 short of these. So it'll end up having 2 side by side, but I'm going to try to put that in the middle where the sign's going to go. This one only had 4, this one only had 6, so I added 4 more of this one. And I'm just going to mix all these together because they are very similar. They all have like a glitter, they all have gold and red and brown and green, and they're perfect. So I'm going to go ahead and stack these the way I'm going to add them to my wreath. I have my ribbon stacked. I have my little piece of glue stick. This is the smaller glue stick. I don't think it really matters. So I'm going to take my ribbons. I'm going to get them as even as I can with this one in the center. I always put the smaller ribbon on top. I fold it in half. I'm going to crease it. And then when I open it, where I crease is where I'm going to pinch. I do 1, 2, 3 pinches. And I end up with this. So I'm going to go to my pipe cleaner. And I'm just going to stick that in the center. I'm going to twist it 3 times because I'm not adding anything else. And then take my glue stick, grab it at the top, kind of tuck it over, and just roll it down. So I end up with this cute little curly piece. If you don't like that, you can always tuck it around to the back. And then I always fluff in an X. So I just grab the 2 and fluff. And then of course at the end I'll have to go around and mess with my ribbons again because as I'm adding, I'm sure it's going to move stuff around. So now for my next set of ribbons, I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to get them as even as I can. Fold it in half and crease. And since this is wired ribbon, I always use wired ribbon, I can keep the crease and then pinch 3 times. Add it in. You want to twist tightly. You don't want your ribbons to slide out when you're fluffing them. And I roll it down. And fluff, because you're really pulling on it when you're fluffing it. You really want it to separate. Alright, I'm going to go through and finish adding all of my ribbons. I'm going to do them the exact same way all over the wreath. I've got all my ribbons added. I think they look really nice, especially with the sign. Well, stupid light. Especially with the sign. I think they all go good together. Alright, so to add my sign, I'm going to trim away the string. You can either use E6000 and glue, or you can use pipe cleaners and a staple gun. Which I use pipe cleaners and a staple gun. I mean, I use pipe cleaners with the E6000 and hot glue. And you can also do so many different things to attach. These are just the 2 ways I attach my signs to my wreaths. I usually put 2 staples And they're usually pretty loose, so I can move it back and forth to get it even. And then I'll just twist it a couple times. I'm doing it pretty centered, and I'm doing it one on each side. You can add more pipe cleaners if you want. That is completely up to you. Alright. I'm going to add the sign here. Pretty sure here. And then I'm going to add everything around it. I'm going to go down a little bit. Yeah, I think I'm going to go down just a little bit. Okay, so the first thing I want to do is move as much ribbon out of this area because I don't want to lose that ribbon behind the sign. You're not going to get all of it out of there. And if it really bothers you, you can always just add the ribbon after. I'm usually not that organized with my wreath making, so I just kind of do it, make the wreath and then see what happens. Okay, so to attach it, I'm going to pull apart the mesh until I get to the wire frame, push the pipe cleaners through, and I'm going to wrap it around the frame. Just a couple times the first time, just to make sure I'm happy with the placement. I'm going to do the same thing on this side, kind of pushing the ruffle and the poof out of the way. Alright, I like that placement, so I'm going to turn it over and twist it really well and then wrap it around the frame. And I'm going to make sure the pointy parts are facing the front of the wreath so there's nothing poking out that can scratch someone's door. And there, that's really secure. Alright, now I'm going to figure out exactly what I'm going to add and where to my wreath. I just think these are so pretty. I've seen these at Dollar Tree. They come in like a round, like a vine that you can pull apart. But these were actually on a pick, so they're fun. Stick that back there, see how I like it. I do want balance in my wreaths, but I'm not too picky about it being perfect on each side. With a wreath like this, with it being like nature things, I really want it to feel, I think the word's organic, natural. Alright, so open all those up. I'll just kind of stick this one in there. They are not stuck in there like permanently. These are kind of faded. I'm going to make sure they're tucked behind the sign. Alright, and I may end up trimming these to sprinkle them throughout the rest of the wreath. I think I'm going to add some of these. And these are just little sprigs. Says I got it at Old Time Pottery. It was $1.49. Very affordable. And there's a possibility I bought it when it was marked down, so it was even less. It's actually really good quality for something that was $1.49. And then for these pine cones, you can just pull them straight out. They still have the pick part on the end. And I'm going to pull this one off of here, which the whole thing came off, which is fine. This is from Dollar Tree, I think. Pretty sure this is from Dollar Tree. So this one's slightly smaller, but it looks really similar, so it'll work. So I'm just going to lay it out to figure out where I want to place everything before I actually attach it. Yeah, I think I'm going to leave it like this. I like how simple it is. And I don't really have anything that I think would make it look nice. If I come across something later, then maybe I'll add it. I'm going to use my hot glue gun. You do not have to use a hot glue gun. You can wire them in. You could just, you could use the wires that are here, or you could just attach floral wire and feed it through to the back. That takes a really long time, in my opinion, and hot glue is easier. So That's what I'm going to use. I use Gorilla Hot Glue, and you definitely want to make sure it touches the mesh so it doesn't pop off. I think I'm going to take a few of these and put them up here and around. Alright, I am all done adding to my wreath. I am going to shake it like crazy once it's dry to make sure nothing's falling off. And if anything is, I will re-glue it. It's very important that nothing falls off. And then once everything's dry, I'll go through and fluff my ribbons again. I don't want to move it too much right now because I don't want to move anything out of its place. You definitely want to double check when you use hot glue, and also when you wire it in, because you don't want anything to fall off when you, one, ship it, or two, just give it to someone, whether you gift them or sell them. You don't want anything to fall off. Alright, that's it. That's how I made my Merry Christmas rustic wreath. If y'all have any questions, please leave them in the comments below, or you can email me at craftingwithlee@yahoo.com. Thank you so much for watching, and if y'all like my video or learned anything today, please be sure to like, share, subscribe, hit the notification bell, and think about joining my wreath group. It's only $1.99 a month, and you get an exclusive video once a month. Thank you.